liked it, which the previous game didn't do that well. It became a cult classic later. So when you've got a cult classic, you don't do that, man. It's like Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is liked by Duke Nukem fans. That's it. It's not that great a shooter. Most people don't even know much about it except he was this dude with a freaking flat top. You know what I'm saying?
I'll rip off your head and piss down your throat.
Yeah. Oh,
Shake
no,
it,
come
baby.
on. Don't make me take that. Oh, gross. You take the crap out of it. It's like, Duke Nukem is very
I'm here
niche.
to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
But,
Well,
like, it's
Duke
such a
Nukem
niche
3
game
was nothing like the first two Duke Nukems. If you ever played the Duke Nukems on shareware, Duke Nukem 3 was a drastic change in the way the game played.
Well, it didn't do too hot.
I mean, dude, the first Duke Nukem had strip clubs. You know, you could actually urinate. You know, I mean,
And it would regain health. Yes, I remember. I played it.
I mean, it's quite literally a case of you got to go for the fan base when that's all you have to offer with your game, when there's better options. I mean, dude, there's way better horror games. There's way better games where you play the monster than Vampire. Like, you're not going to pull. In fact, this game is so based on its lore as the appeal that you are a fan of Vampire the Masquerade. The stupidity of divorcing yourself from that is just beyond dumb. Because otherwise, I'd rather play Blade. I'd rather play any of the other games where you play a vampire, like that one that's the top-down one that's really popular. It has the Castlevania content where your vampire can fight a Belmont. Like, that got added to that other game, man. It's like,
you mean Lords of Shadow?
yeah. You know, yes, you can face off against one of the Belmonts. I mean, it's like, that's what you want.
Well, let's talk about it in the show that we are streaming and about to start.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
and on Skype.
We have Bloodaxe.
Pardon my wounds here. I was trying to be removed from the earth by a driver, but she wasn't quick enough. I got rear-ended on my motorcycle this weekend. I don't know if I told you, Blood.
No, you did not.
Yeah,
This is the first. I'm hearing about it with our audience at the same time.
Yeah. So it was fun. I keep sitting my arm down on the table and jumping. So
He's got a matching leg.
yeah, I have a matching leg to go along with the arm, but
Yeah. He survived getting ran over by, would that be a millennial or a Gen Z?
I don't know, 19-year-old.
19-year-old driver.
Yeah.
Don't give me more info to that. 19-year-old driver hit him from behind because, quote, they blinked for just a moment, and apparently he disappeared. I don't know, because he was right there in front of you when you blinked. Don't know where you thought he went when you blinked. But they just ran him straight over and then nearly got attacked by America. Because apparently everybody pulled over, trucks and stuff, and people running out of buildings, and guys like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, Michael, I rode a 2020 Harley Heritage Classic, but I'm not sure how what I'll be riding in the future since I haven't got all the claim information back.
Hey, I just like the solidarity. No guy likes to see a dude on a motorcycle get ran over.
Yeah.
So they were just like pouring out. He said, man, trucks were pulling over. People were like, what the?
Yeah.
Because, the deal, it wasn't like a case of a cross. It was, he was like at a light.
Yeah.
And like, he started going, and the person behind him just said, yeah, I don't feel like waiting. And just went, and I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, of course people are going to be like, whoa, man, you don't just run over a motorcycle. I mean, it'd be different if you hit your brakes and you couldn't stop. No, this was, you accelerated, caught up, and ran over somebody. And I'm just like, they must have knew who you were.
Yeah. So look at that asshole.
I know that guy.
Oh.
I told you SBI was coming for you. You knew it was going to happen. You almost got canceled.
At first, I did the math to make sure it wasn't like a daughter that I didn't know about.
It's like adding up, like, do I know you? He's like, I don't know you.
Anyway, let's actually talk about the stuff going on in geek. Oh man,
Ubisoft. Crossing the
Ubisoft.
street now, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being.
Oh, not Ubisoft. You're
I
going
mean,
from
as
bad
much
to
as we talk
worse.
about Ubisoft, maybe she was a Ubisoft employee. I don't know. I mean, Ubisoft been effing up.
Did she have an accent with the 10 cents in it?
Oh
Hey, they got inside people, man. I'm telling you.
no, I don't think she's French.
That's Ubisoft French. No, I was talking about 10 cent. No, that'd be smart.
Oh.
Shoot a French person. Conceal yourself. See, Bloodaxe is a good evil overlord. He got the first check. I don't send one of my people.
They work in Caucasians, so you know.
How dare you assume that about them? Also, what do you think French people are?
Well, that's why I was
Oh,
saying.
you're going to say like,
You know, it wouldn't work with she went Chinese.
there's nothing funny than a black guy speaking French, though. I've heard it. It is so weird, man. You don't know, just like, merci beaucoup.
Well, it's just like when you see the white guys doing like Japanese or Chinese, man. White guys doing Chinese is like
people doing any other
looks
languages.
What's
really
wrong with the
weird.
black
Yeah,
guy
when they do-
speaking French?
They make
In high school,
faces,
my
though,
French
when they do
teacher was
Chinese,
black.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said in high school, my French teacher was black. There's nothing wrong with a black guy speaking French.
Well, I mean,
That was basically a shot at Canada. You didn't get it. There's a reference to it.
but
Oh,
pretty much
that-
anybody who doesn't
that's different.
who
That's,
wasn't born speaking like Mandarin or something, just looks funny speaking it.
Now,
I
if
just
her head
hate it.
opened sideways, that'd be a different story. But yeah, I don't think her head was opening sideways.
I know. Well, the thing I hate most of what the white people do when they speak any Asian language is when y'all squint. That is bad. I hate that. I'm like, dude, don't do that. But I've seen it where they'll just be like, and their eyes get more to squint. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Well, you don't have to squint when you speak Chinese to somebody. Don't make a face.
Maybe the sun got in their eyes.
And at that time, I have to be like, we do need to cancel your games. I don't know. That's pretty messed up. I just look at somebody and just be like, they just like their eyes get squintier, and I'm just like, oh, God, please speak English, you dumb mofo. I don't know if we're in demonetization zone.
You know.
But trust me, I've been embarrassed before when it's like, what are you doing, man? Hey, check it out. I can speak Spanish. And then they start cocking their head. I'm like, you sit your head still. You're not a cholo. Stop. Don't do a thing with it.
Oh, that's like when white women try to.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the snap. Don't bring it up. Oh, don't bring up the snap. Oh, that's awful. Look, all I'm saying is that I get.
Try to act like a sister. This is just man.
All I'm
it
saying is
hilarious.
I get.
I mean, it's racist, but it's also hilarious.
No, that's like I said. I'll say this for truth. I get why some people messing with y'all so bad these days. Y'all earned some of this quite a bit. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I hate racism of any kind, but I mean, you can take a few licks. Take a few licks, and they gonna kill you.
Hey, that's the thing. It's not racism. If it's we can all have fun with each other.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's racism when you go,
Don't give us an example.
I mean, we've got examples.
Yeah, we got examples.
We've got examples
Well, when you
coming
call
up.
yourself a racist, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, just a person just goes, I'm a racist.
But
No.
anyway, we're talking about Ubisoft right now, which
We'll get
No, we're not.
the senior writer for Black Panther soon enough.
all right. Ubisoft acknowledges buyout report. So we were talking about it last week. The 10 cent and possible buyouts. I mean, basically they said, yeah, it's all a possibility. They do review them. So I mean, they confirmed the rumors that
The talks are
the
happening.
talks are happening. Now, I mean, doesn't mean anything's going to come of it. But there are talks. Other than that, I mean, you have more.
We got more Ubisoft. We'll just
Yeah.
roll it all together.
Ubisoft is being sued for allegedly sharing Ubisoft Store and Ubisoft Plus users' data with Meta, which that is annoying because I do have a Ubisoft account, and I don't want Meta having more of my information than it already does as being owning Facebook,
Well, there were already rumors before this lawsuit that Ubisoft was selling to several different places.
Yeah.
The data of their people to try to make
Oh
money.
no! If they're
I mean,
sharing,
they're
if they're
crackheads.
sharing your stuff with Meta, they're probably sharing your stuff with a lot of other people too.
Well, they did it so bad they're being sued.
Yeah.
So they up there like Dave Chappelle would say, like in his skit, to be like, "Yo, man, I got them user ID numbers, man. What you got for me?"
Which,
they crackheads.
I mean, it does already have 10% ownership of by 10 cents. So, and China, they
want your data.
Yeah.
So they probably already have your data.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's just so pathetic that, like, hey, man, You could not ruin Assassin's Creed, not ruin Star Wars, no, sell out your customers. And that's why I call it crackhead behavior, because it is crackhead behavior. It's dumb. You're sitting up here literally selling your customers' data. They're going to know because they're going to be getting contacted and worried because they're not going to just not do anything. They're going to start sending you stupid crap. You're going to get advertisements and stuff. And now they're in a lawsuit, which costs money. Costs money. And all they needed to do was fix their game to start making money. But how determined are they on this path? They'd rather sell you out than just not do weird stuff to their games. That just blows my mind. I would just go, hey, man, let's fix Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, man, let's sell out all our customers, get bought out by 10 cents. That'll get the message out. Yeah, it'll get the message out that what you're doing is stupid.
Yeah, I agree. And that's pretty much, I mean, the same direction we've been going here for a few weeks. Michael mentioned, I think Ubisoft is going down. Yeah, no. And then, yeah, this I don't know if this is the final nail in the coffin, but it ain't helping the sinking ship.
The suit is going to hurt them. And whatever money they made, that's going to be the value. That's automatically what you do. When you sue, they're going to take everything Meta gave them, which means your data's still going to be out there. And they're not even going to have made money. So you know what you got sold out for? For nothing.
Not really. It's a class action lawsuit. You get off a bit scot-free with class action lawsuits without paying nearly, because your data is inferior. I mean, there's no real value. There's not a concrete value to it.
They're going to go for the value of what they made. I think they're going to lose all the Meta money. They're going to take that amount. If they got 50 million, they're going to hit them for at least 50 million. They got 100 million. Because I know if I join a class action, my goal would be, more than anything, to make sure Ubisoft got nothing out of selling my data.
The money is not really exactly there either, because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this. It seems like they were, when you bought stuff online, it was maybe trying to, on Facebook, then go, hey, you should have a Ubisoft Plus account, And so maybe using your data for ads and stuff, which makes it hard to really say what came from it.
Yep. Like I said, my belief and hope is that they take all the money they made.
Like I said, it's one that hard. It's going to be hard to put a value on it. Most likely, what they're going to do is they're going to make a deal in court, drop a chunk, which then everybody who signs up for the class action lawsuit end up getting like $1.50 or something. Yeah.
You don't do it to get money on a class action. My hope is that they hit them for the amount, because the only way to demotivate people from selling your data is to make it not profitable. So the goal should be to at least hit them for the value that they made so they don't do it. So logically, which as we know is rarely a factor these days, you should hit them for the amount that they theoretically profited.
They will probably get more in fines to the government than they will to the actual.
Well, that works as long as that means they didn't make a profit.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only way to stop this is you've got to make it so it's not profitable, dude. If I can still make a bunch of money off of selling your data after the lawsuit, why do I even care? Just keep doing it. So hopefully there's enough sense here to hit them so that they walk away and go, man, we lost on that deal. Right, Bloodaxe? That makes sense. You want to make it a loss so that they're not motivated to keep doing it.
Right. You want it to be punitive enough to where it make you think twice about doing it again. I mean, if you only make a couple of bucks versus, you're actually forking out more than what you're bringing in, then that would be disincentive.
That's the perfect. You said all the right words. Punitive, disincentivized. They need to be disincentivized. So you don't do it to make money. You do it to disincentivize the bad behavior. Yeah, he said some countries have harsher penalties. Europe. He's not wrong. Yeah, you don't want to be over in those courts. They get pretty harsh. As our boy Flynn in there talking about, they hit you hard. So hopefully they get hit hard enough that they don't see this in a money-making scheme, because they're always getting new customers. They're just going to keep selling the data if the price tag is not that high. So hopefully they'll get hit hard enough to make them go, okay, we don't want to do that again. We lost. Because they're not worried about their reputation. If they were, it wouldn't have messed up Star Wars. You know I was going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, like, they clearly don't care.
I flinch every time you go near my arm right now.
I have not hit you on the bloody spot
I know,
yet.
but
I know, it's annoying. You keep
Yes.
dodging. I've aimed,
So the Video Privacy Protection Act, which is what this is under, is a U.S. act. So
you didn't see that
this will
one.
be in the U.S. court.
I went for your arm. You didn't see it. I was all the way down here. I just want to see that punch reflex, see if it's still solid.
Yeah. I don't have a helmet to throw at you.
I still cracked me up. I threw my helmet at the person. I was like, did you hit him? He's like, nah. I was like, okay. Just pinging off their head.
Just throw it in their general direction.
Motorcycle helmets don't play. That's a good hand-to-hand weapon there.
Oh, yeah. Would have been nice.
I'll take that over a brick or something.
But yeah, so this is a U.S. court thing for right now. But yeah, he is right. If it goes over to Europe, Europe don't play with data protection, man. Europe will give them a good.
Well, also Europe goes for that punitive. Like he said, they know to hit you for what you made. They're going to be like, we're going to make you suffer. And honestly, I know people say don't dance on the grave of Ubisoft. And my whole thing is that only is a valid statement up until they start talking crap. Because to me, you can dance on the grave of any company that's talking crap to you because they're talking crap. They're not your friend. And Ubisoft's been pretty dang hostile.
I don't know.
So I don't care.
I don't think any of us are really dancing on the grave, though. We still understand that there are innocent bystanders and employees that get affected by this.
That's the problem about a buyout is a lot of people going to lose their jobs if they get bought out.
I mean, obviously, I would hope that Ubisoft would learn to care for their clientele and try to make better products. But, And our next topic proves how we feel because here's the problem. We're about to jump to a topic where it's the same issue. They fire devs. They fire QA. They need to be firing writers. Well, I mean, and that's not. I mean, they need to fire the people who are saying shit about their customers. I mean, it's not so much just writers. It's not.
You need to also fire community managers.
Yeah,
oh my goodness,
community managers,
because
producers,
they do nothing for your
directors, developers. I mean,
some devs, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a specific job position. It's if you talk crap about the people that we're trying to sell a game to, then you don't need to work here. If I mean, that would be my opinion. If you're going to talk crap about our clientele, we don't want you. Because we're trying to be a profitable company. Like, I love Q to death. He's my best friend. But if he started going around saying everybody who watches Dicejunkies or likes Dicejunkies is a piece of shit, I couldn't put up with that.
I would hope not. I wouldn't respect you if you did. I'd be looking beside your head like, hey, man, what's up? Don't worry, I'm watching. I'll watch it. I went uproar. I'd be like, yo, I'd be disappointed because it's like, I'll tell you real quick, dude, if he started doing that, I might try to kick him out of his own company. I might be like, hey, man, check it out. Where's the LLC license at? You know, all right, shut up. I can tell you to shut up now. You know, Bloodaxe, put your 2 cents in because I got a nice little rant here, and once I get going, I can't stop.
I mean, this is just it's a same tune, different verse, but I still feel like we don't understand why people in management want to abuse and belittle their customers. That just does not make sense to me at all. And you know, it's gotten to the point to where now we're all pretty much just, yeah, we're bigots, whatever. We don't care anymore. But the fact that, you know, they're still trotting out this attack line thinking that if they call us racist or bigots or whatever, that we're all of a sudden going to go watch their movie or buy their game or, you know, consume their product. And that's not working anymore. You know, most people have gotten to the point to where they're like, yeah, you know what, call us, you know, a phobe or nist or whatever, because we just don't care. And, you know, originally it was, you know, this isn't made for you. Okay, well, I can drink that Kool-Aid and I'm fine with that. It's not made for me.
But then when you don't buy the game, you're a racist and a
right. But,
yeah, you're either way. You can't win.
Yeah.
But don't get your little feelings hurt when we don't buy your game, and then you want to call us a bigot. Well, no, you just told me it wasn't made for me. Why am I going to, pay for something that wasn't made for me? And then you get your feelings hurt because I didn't buy your shit. So it's really interesting. It's almost comical to this point that whether it be Marvel movies or Star Wars films or video gaming or whatever, people are like, well, you're a bigot if you don't consume our products. But you told us that we weren't your target audience, and this is just it's more comedy than is anything else, to the point to where I hope they keep doing it because it gives us more content to talk about it. But it is really interesting that they keep playing that same card and they're not seeing any kind of change in the result, and it's not making any more of their products fly off the shelves any faster. So yeah, call me a bigot. If you want to have a shirt that says that, you know what? Fine. Bloodaxe is a bigot. He's not buying your stuff. Go ahead, make a shirt, and I'll even give you the rights to use my name if you want to, because that's how much I really just don't care about what you think about me. Because if you made a good game,
we'll make the shirt to make the money.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, next week, MechWarrior Clans is coming out. I would have paid the $70-$80 it would have cost for the game. It's coming on Game Pass, so that's going to save me the money for having to buy the game, which I will probably eventually buy anyway when it goes off Game Pass, because I still play MechWarrior Mercenaries. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind paying extra money for a game I know I'm going to enjoy, but Black Panther, unless you are able to have some dialogue that T'Challa had actually, or
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, thank you. If he was in it, then I may be more interested in it because I liked him as an actor. I thought he did a great job. But other than that, no, I have really no interest in Marvel at this point.
All right.
And so, go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump in before you get too far into your rant.
He covered a lot of it. Go ahead.
But I will say, like, there are things that I am willing to be called, and I really just don't care. You actually jumped on part of our next topic with this one, where the guy's like signed his comments with, "Yeah, I'm a dickhead," whatever.
Because you called him. Yeah, we'll get to that though.
And one thing is, I don't care if you call me a dickhead. I don't care if you call me an asshole, or some derogatory term like that, because whatever. But a bigot is a defined word. It has a hard definition. And so that's what gets me on this one. Because if you look, bigot, a person who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against antagonistic against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group. Now, this is something that I pride myself of being an open-minded person who tries to look at things from all sides. This is why this one gets me a little more than dickhead, asshole, gamers, whatever. I don't give a shit about those. Bigot, that one pisses me off a bit because, like I said, it's defined. An asshole doesn't really have.
But the counterpoint is that in the article, we're not going to read it off. Go to that part, please, give them their props. She states she doesn't go by definition. She forgot. She redefined racism and admitted it. She goes, no, I don't care what the definition of racism is. I have my own definition.
Well, that's actually a completely different part of the article. The whole bigot thing came from Alexa Rake, and all she said was she commented on Elisa Mercanti, where she's talking about gamers being bigots.
It was Alexa?
And then Alexa said she needed this on a T-shirt. That was where all this came from. That's who the senior writer is.
Okay, I thought later on somebody was saying that they have their own definition.
Well, they went more into this another person involved who talks about all the racist stuff, and
Lalanders did it. She's the one that said, I have my own definition of the word, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. Now, the two quick points I'm going to make that actually got covered, now they're a lot faster. Good job. Y'all actually covered a lot of is this, which is, first of all, you can't win. Attacking your customers is pointless. I don't know why, because it's not just them. Ubisoft, a lot of devs are doing this. You cannot win attacking your customer for one reason. You want to know the big secret of business? It's a one-way transaction with customers as far as power goes. You have no power over your customers, really. They have the money. So attacking them can't win. You need their money.
Yeah.
And the second point, which you kind of covered, is this. I'm going to say flat out and simple. If most gamers are bigots, then you need to quit your job. And the reason why is because if that's the way you feel, and it's true, then you can't make it in this business, baby. If 80% of your customers don't like chocolate, you can't make money as a chocolate person. It's just selling chocolate, obviously. Don't get stupid. So it's really simple. It doesn't matter if they are bigots. You still got to sell to them, or you're going to fail. And that's the blunt truth. And it's what he said. He just basically said it in a different way. Keep calling them what you want. You're actually going to make it to where they don't care anymore. And then you've made the fatal mistake of they're now wearing that tag, which means they have to be even less polite to you. You're creating a very hostile environment for the people you're supposed to be helping. Because I've reached that point on several occasions where I had to calm down, where I was more than willing to be called all kind of phobes because I was so disgusted with behavior I was seeing from certain groups that I said, that is messed up. That's not okay. Well, you're a phobe. Okay, I'm a phobe. It's still messed up. Well, now you're powerless. And you've made the mistake of taking away from that person their attempts to be polite. Like with Bloodaxe. Bloodaxe has reached a point where he don't even care about being polite anymore. And it ain't his fault. You kept calling him stuff to where he stopped caring. How do you win? You're still not going to get his money. And now you're getting a little fifis hurt. You're creating the group you want. You're making a redefined, not the real definition. You're making your definition of bigot a group that people are willingly joining. That's a loss. You don't want to be preaching recruitment for the other team. It's like how they did poor Caitlin Clark, man. I've been following that. That's messed up in WNBA.
Well, the one that redefined the word was the one that redefined the R word, the Ray word. You know,
racism.
The ism.
Yeah. And it's like they made the word it's like what they did with Nazi. They made the word empty. And that's terrible because that word should raise alarm.
Well, you can't.
But now it's
you can't
just like
add and exclude from an ism. Like an ism is bam. It is what it is. Racism, ageism, sexism.
But if you say that a bigot is someone who thinks CD Projekt Red having a policy that only hires women and men who identify as women exclusively and gives them free benefits and gives them extra leave time while telling everyone else, oh, you don't identify the right way, which in reverse would be like literally illegal. That's what a bigot is, then yeah, I'll wear that tag. See how you failed? You made me wear the tag with pride because I'm like, that's messed up. It's not fair. You should have similar programs across it. And what's crazy, we've seen pictures. They're predominantly women staff. They've done a good job. So this program is increasing the bias in a company. One of the statements from the Donders, and I'll stop here, is she literally had a statement about, well, I'm trying to protect marginalized people on my staff. And she has like a 90% minority staff. And I'm like, the minority at your business is white people. You said so yourself. And you stated you don't treat them that well. So the marginalized people at your company, and by the way, all this, her words. They're in the article, in her words. She talks about them. She talks about how she feels about them. Those people working there are marginalized within that company. And if you're a bigot because you have a problem with that, all right, I am. Because my thing is, anytime that you have the power, you're the majority and you have the power and you run the system, you're the systematic problem if you're being biased.
I guess the one thing I disagree with you on is the claim of, being willing to accept the term bigot or being able to accept the term racist. I'm a definitions guy, dude. Like, I mean, we created words for a reason. We created a vocabulary for a reason. And if you're going to use words that are fully defined, I'm not going to accept them. And you know what? I will defend them.
I'm looking at you. I'm thinking we could be on here for 4 hours talking about how language is being butchered by certain.
Well, yeah. Well, I know, and that's sort of my point. I mean,
the language. I mean, I've seen so many breakdowns recently where people are trying to have a normal conversation, and they'll say a word, and it's just like, I can't even use that word barely anymore because the definition has been changed, and I'm not the right person to use that word anymore. And no, I don't mean offensive words. I mean, I used the word pride earlier and realized that all the meanings of that word are different.
You're not, though. Use the word, man. You used it correctly. That's why I'm not.
Saying I used it correctly was a hate crime.
I'm not going to rewrite my dialect. I don't see the point in it, and I'm just going to continue on.
But let's y'all, because like I said, the key part is that business wise, short version is you can't hate the group that is your target audience, and your target audience is the majority, unless it's a minority that is especially affluent. Now, you could pull that where you're exclusively, we sell to the richest customers. We're looking for whales. Looking for that. But unfortunately, numbers have shown that the whales aren't a part of that group. They've shown that the majority of spenders aren't a part of that group because the biggest spenders in gaming are either actually women for mobile games, massive audience, lots of money, or established men who have established income, who that's their entertainment, that spend hundreds of dollars into it. That's where your money is. And then the whales are overseas, but guess what? They're overseas and they're like Asian, Persian, Muslim, they're like big spenders. Those cultures don't lean that heavily into this stuff either. So you have a small chance that you're going to get a bunch of whales who want to play Dustborn. So it's just bad business. It isn't bigotry or anything. It's bad business. If you're in gaming, then if you want to do this, I think they need to go into mobile games. You have a much more likely to find your audience over there than you are in action, horror, shooters. You're just not going to find that audience. And this has just been shown over and over again. I hate to see people waste money and get people fired. That's what I hate, because people need their jobs. Countries having heck, and Western gaming's dying. He doesn't feel the same way I do about Ubisoft. Well, Ubisoft's not Western, but he doesn't feel the same way I do about some of the game companies going down, because he said, dude, we're about to not even have Western gaming companies dang near. He's not wrong. Eventually, it's just going to be Tencent in Japan. That's going to be it. And most of the Western gaming companies are going to just be dead. That's not good. But how do we stop it when the Western gaming companies are trying to sell to like 8% of the customer base or less? So, Harvey was trying to learn Japanese. I'm going to have to learn Chinese too if I want to play these games. Because, either that or I'm going to have to listen to AI voice actors. Dude, ain't no way that the freaking China's going to put up with this bull crap for the voice actors, man. They're going to AI the crap, but they don't even have copyright laws in China. So they'll steal your voice. They'll steal your voice, man, in a minute. Y'all know this. There's big copyright issues. Like, they'll AI your voice, man.
So yeah, continuing on the comments about people talking crap online. This one was interesting because this problem child here has we've had a lot. I mean, she was in the previous one, I mean,
want to be OnlyFans.
But anyway, apparently, she had claimed to be part of Moon Studios, Ori.
She claimed to have worked on the game Ori.
Yeah, and so the one of the guys that
the guy
the guy over it's like, hey, look, you're talking crap to my customers which is, what we were talking about here. And he's like, so I'm going to be clear, you never worked on this game.
He was nice. He asked. He said, hey, I'm not seeing you on any of our payrolls. Like, you're saying you worked on our game. When did that happen? At which point she comes back and goes, well, actually, I was over at Microsoft and, like, I don't know what she was doing, but it wasn't working on games. And then he came back and said, okay, well, look, I'm not putting any opinions on what you're saying, but you didn't work for us, so stop saying that.
Actually, it wasn't Alyssa McConaughey. It was some Ray person, but...
Oh, yeah, Mr. Gary reined in on it because she's always trying to get attention.
I don't actually have all the information on the person who originally... Because they have blocked their...
Yeah, they blocked everybody. Because they got caught lying. They got caught lying because they even had to say, well, I didn't actually work on it. He said, well, then don't tell people.
So this person was talking about the creator of this game's fan base as somebody claiming to be somebody who worked for him. And he was like, look, no. He's like, you should be nice. Don't be horrible. Don't be mean to these people.
Yeah, not my customers. Then Alyssa McConaughey, who
always
has nothing
nice
to do with any of this,
Ray,
just dives in and calls the dude
with
a name.
Yeah, and then Alyssa McConaughey comes in and is like, you're a dickhead.
Because she needs attention. And this is the person that's trying to sue Smash JT and losing, asked people to fight her, then hid. She's just a big, stupid child. But she attacks the guy, and I love his reply is, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. And so then he looks at him and is like, apparently you are a writer for Kotaku
or something. Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know or care. Call me what you want.
And then she's like, oh, well, you fire people and do all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I did. Not everybody works out on a team.
Yeah, we hired some people. They said some stuff. We said, we're not doing that. And he fired them. I'm like.
And just starts trying to dig up stuff. And then he's just like, look. And he goes on a really long.
He tears her down. He talks to her about you've never worked on games, so you don't know what you're talking about. Let me give you some advice on how this works. Shut up. I mean, basically around it out to shut up.
This huge thing. But it's funny because he's like, yours, dickhead.
He claims the name, as we said. And then other creators started chiming in and going, hey, good reply. Because he gave her some advice. He said, if you ever want to make games, then everything you're doing is wrong. Like, you'll never make it. As we know, because, you mess up bad enough, you got to hide your whole website. You just got to tuck the whole thing away. Bloodaxe, what do you think of Alyssa McConaughey getting schooled? Which is weird, because you weren't even a part of the conversation.
I mean, that's a great thing. Jumping in just to be schooled. That's awesome.
That's Alyssa McConaughey's life. She almost got her butt whooped calling people out to fight her when a bunch of women said, okay.
Yeah.
And then people literally came up and said, we'll pay for it. I'll get you a ring. Oh, she disappeared.
Yeah.
It's weird, too, because she works out, but she is a coward, apparently. Because, I mean, the person who challenged her, I'll be honest, I think she's more fit than her. I'm kind of thinking, like, Alyssa, you might could have won that fight. It's so pathetic. Like, I ain't going to be scared of someone challenging me to fight I think I can beat. If somebody shows up challenging me to fight half my size, I'm going to be like, get the camera. You know what I'm saying? We about to go world
I will say, though, there's a difference between somebody who works out and somebody who fought. You don't know if that person had brothers. If that girl had brothers,
we know Alyssa can't fight. Alyssa ain't ever want to fight. I'm like, dang it, trying to get her to accept the challenge. You ruin everything.
Girls growing up with brothers could usually
are way tougher. Yeah, I know some tough women, but now you warned her. Now she definitely ain't going. Very dark.
She ain't listening to us.
Very dark. Whoop her tail.
If she
listens to people that got nothing to do with her.
If she listened to us, we wouldn't be able to see her post. She would have blocked our asses.
She would never give us that kind of advertising. I'd love to be able to say, we've been blocked by Alyssa McConaughey. We're doing something right. The fact that we're not blocked is sad. We need to talk about her more. You know what I'm saying? If I had a sister, I'd put her up to fight her. I'd be like, hey, my sister said she'll fight you.
Anyway, Bloodaxe, I interrupted your reply.
No, I did. I just think we need more people calling out folks like this. Because that's the only way that people will eventually get their shit together is to literally be called out. Because the more we just this isn't important enough to fight about. The more we get away from that mentality and start calling folks out, maybe they'll straighten their act together. But the fact that that she was called out, I think is fantastic. But at this point, I think we're still still, starting to push back, but it's still just the beginning because there's so much more work that needs to get done. And I hope you're wrong. I hope it isn't just Tencent and Japan making games in the future, because if that's the case, then we're screwed. Because I'm not going to learn to speak anybody else's language.
They'll put it in English. I told you, AI will save us.
Man, my phone
Won't save the voice.
My phone can translate.
Yeah.
I ain't going through all that.
Yeah,
I'll end up just
dude.
going
I was
back.
I was reading this one.
Older games. I'll just replay older games again. Say to hell with it.
I'll go through with the work for something I enjoy. Look, I was reading a manga one time, and the manga ended, and I was at such a point to where I pulled up the raws for the manga and put on the photo translator on my phone and would just read it like.
No. Did you save the file?
You are more dedicated than I ever will be.
He was translating it himself.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And if you've ever read anything machine translated, it's rough.
It's
now,
bad.
It's gotten a lot better, but
I've heard some AI voice acting.
It is bad.
Was it much worse than what you get out of like a Crunchyroll studio? like, so you're like, no, this is good enough. I mean, hey, you know what? All they got to do is go back to silent protagonists. Also, don't forget that we're old school JRPGers, and even you've been around long enough that it's like I can just read it. It don't have to be voice acted. I read fast. You just don't voice.
Dude, I have time. I get annoyed when it has voice and text,
and they don't match.
And it's not that they don't match. It's that I can't fast forward the voice because I've already read it. Because if they have text, I actually prefer to read it because I can get through and I can absorb the information and get through it faster than their cutscene.
It's a trick to speed reading where you kind of take a photo picture of the whole text and your brain processes the gist of it. I actually found one of those a speed reading trick where your mind kind of goes, boom, it gets the context without you really stopping for every single word. And you could speed read really fast like that if you know what you're doing. And I mean, I love good voice acting, but at the same time, if it's going to mess the game up because honestly, so many voice actors have failed me lately too with getting weird ideas. Why do I know my voice actors' opinions and sex life? I don't need any of that.
Well, yeah,
I don't know why I need that about a voice actor.
I mean, if you have good dialogue, good voice acting is great with it. But if you have drawn out dialogue and I just want to continue playing my game, I'd rather read the information, take in the important parts. That way I get to continue my game because I am limited on time that I can play video games. As you get older, you get more responsibilities. And honestly, I don't have time for Like a Dragon.
I've tried to complete Like a Dragon Ishin, but I spent a whole evening going, huh? And you know what? The best way to do your dialogue to me is comic book style. Comic books needed to have art on the page. So they mastered minimalized dialogue. And games that follow that are so much better where they're like, hey, we're going to have a couple of back and forths real quick and then we're done. And if you want to go read a monologue, you go like in Fallout, you go to a computer terminal, you read it. I never did. And you go on. I go watch a video later that covers it. But my point is that you don't want the cutscenes, and that's the problem with Sony, man. They are just the king of movie-like cutscenes all the dang time. And you're just like, dude, cut to the chase, man. I'm ready to get back to action. It is a game. Just being real, it is a game. But anyway, do the dialogue during a fight, know those games that do that where they're talking back and forth while you're kicking tail. Love that, because I'm in there like, all right, yeah. Oh, whoa, what you say about his mom? That's cold-blooded. But I'm playing the game while that's happening. Still sucks if you die and you got to hear it again and again and again.
Flint says these individuals in charge need to take a PR class. There's a right way and a wrong way to make a statement. Well, check out this statement here. Your company is such a disaster for video games that you remove the client and game list as well as hide your own agenda.
You literally make a fake website for your company. A fake website that has none of your info on it.
I mean, that It's like, yeah, we're bad PR. So what are we going to do? We're just going to hide the fact we exist and try to do things behind the curtain.
Well, that's because, this is the one I got a really a really interesting opinion on. I'm sure Flynn's going to have some words for me, too, because I got an idea of what this is actually going to do to the entire gaming industry. Bloodaxe, you still with us? Or did SBI shut you down? You just heard the words and your brain went, nope.
No, I'm trying to ignore my kid in the background.
Don't worry, I can hear mine downstairs. It's like he's gaming very loud, and you're just like, geez, you think he was running around shooting aliens himself? But no, like the SBI thing of them hiding their site, like removing their future projects. They're basically concealing their partners and who they're working with and what they're working on. And even they removed a lot of their more blatant messages about what they're about.
Dude, I tell you, every time I go to this future projects get smaller and smaller.
They don't even have a feature anymore.
The featured project. That means stuff that they already admitted to doing, they've been removing because that there was so much more on this website before. And yeah, now this is it. It's a one-page website now.
I don't know why they think that they're not going to still dig them up. Everybody knows the name, everyone on their team, so they still got to convince the people to not put their names on anything because they're tracking them down as former employees. But anyway, what you got, Bloodaxe?
Now, in that interview, didn't she say that people are still lining up to work with them, considering
her
all
big
the
meeting?
negative?
Yeah, her big talk. She claims that people are still lining up. Well, I mean, they probably are, dude. They're dumb. I mean, now she's also a liar because oh my goodness, she's literally said she never said things that we have her saying it like live. Full video, so I mean, nothing quite like a liar where you're just like, that's you saying terrified companies into doing what you want, and then saying you never said that and you don't do that, but it's like, but you literally, that's a training video. Like that was a training video. You're training your people to do the thing you say you don't do.
Yeah, and I mean, we covered a game a couple months ago. Was a Flintlock, and you had downloaded it, and I said, "Oh, by the way, SBI worked with them." You're like, "What?" And then you went to SBI Detected and immediately deinstalled it. So, and it wasn't the fact that they had listed SBI in the credits, but it was a member of SBI, and that's how they kind of matched it. So even just employees, if their name be listed, the credits are now being added to SBI Detected. So we're going to still have people that can be creative, and they're going to do their research, and they're still going to make sure that the public as a whole is made aware of us being involved in projects. But I mean, unless it's a known entity of a game, even now I'm waiting on stuff before I even look at buying games.
Okay.
And even the ones I'm interested in, like Space Marine 2, yeah, I can wait a little bit longer because I've got games that are coming out next week that I'm interested in playing.
Yeah.
And I just bought a DLC to Bloodstained that came out apparently a couple weeks ago. I didn't even realize it, and I'm playing it. So, I have no problems waiting while they do their due diligence to even before I get interested in buying other games. So I think that's them revamping their website and trying to, hide their list or keep their clients private. That will work some, but gamers are smart and they're going to start putting things together. And even if there's no direct one-to-one association with it, we'll quickly know the quality of the game, whether or not it's going to be worthwhile or not. So just because you're trying to be covert about it is not going to make a massive difference, because we've all gotten smart enough to where we're going to wait and look at the reviews for the game, not only just from a play perspective, but also from a story perspective, to where we're not even going to be interested in purchasing it anymore, because we've gotten hosed so many times. And I think the last one that really just kind of did it for me was Wonderlands. It was so bad that now I'm very, very leery before I even buy a game at all going forward. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they can try and hide it the best they can, but all they're going to do is just continue to cause people to no longer pre-order games because now they're trying to be covert about it.
Yep.
So good luck with that.
And I got only about 10 minutes or so I'll try to shorten it. Basically, the concept is I looked at this and I thought about what they're doing, and I realized that Sweet Baby Inc. may have just caused the most harm to their very own supposed objectives I've ever seen. Now, here's where my position comes from. When SBI detected and DEI detected, we were able to see which games were working with these companies we don't want to support, right? Now, what do you think happens when they go full covert? What's going to happen every time a game comes out?
You mean other than checking the credits and seeing who's involved with it?
Not just that. They may assume that they're not in the credits. Here's what's going to happen, man. Let's say I'm a dude who I'm not even doing anything weird. I just have a game that happens to have a black female protagonist. But I put out my game. How am I going to convince people that I'm not working with SBI? I can say it, no one will believe me. And it's not on the site. I think that she's going to create a situation to where not only will no game they work on still get past anybody, but a lot of games that are innocent are going to be assumed to be SBI because they went covert. Now it's going to be hard to have a black female protagonist.
I mean, that's
because everyone's going to suspect SBI.
Well, and
it's overreaction.
It's things like this that actually do create. Like, there are people who are just prejudiced or just racist, but this is the type of thing that creates racism and prejudice. When you take a company like that's like, okay, well, what's the first thing we're going to do is make the main person a black female, and then we're going to give them this attitude. We're going to talk shit about these people, and then what happens? Well, people start assuming any game that has that characteristic is going to be like that. And then when you start hiding your label, then it even makes it more likely people are just going to assume that. Like you said, I mean, it's like we're already on notice. Yeah, we already noticed more of this stuff that we probably would have just ignored in the past.
And instead of seeing if the game was good.
Yeah, if it wasn't so blatant lately, the in your face has basically destroyed a lot of diversity that could have been in games naturally and would have moved us forward. Now we're sort of at a stalemate because you did it so poorly. And
thus, you could cause valid LGBTQ main characters, valid liberal message to games, valid female protagonists, black female protagonists, unattractive female protagonists. Those games now will all be suspected to be secretly supported by SBI, which could cause you to, and what's going to happen is that's going to create the worst case scenario. The one that I've been afraid of happening, because guess what? We're not really big at, we actually don't want to see this, but they may make it to the point to where people go, don't do this, even if there's a good reason anymore. And you now have games that had black female protagonists having them switched because they don't want to be accused of being SBI. So I'm afraid they're going to actually create a situation to where you will never see a successful game again with those elements in it because everybody thinks SBI's hiding in the back. And everybody hates SBI, not because of what they do, but because they hate that lady. So my God, her entire speech was just the most annoying thing I'd ever seen. And I wouldn't give her $5 if $4.50 of it went to save people. Like, because I don't want to get 50 cents. Like, she's just the worst. She's such a liar and so manipulative. And I just don't want to see her. And the reason why is not what you think. It's not even personal. I feel sorry for the people that work under her. She should not have authority over anybody. I feel sorry for her employees Because if you don't toe the line, I know it's a nightmare to be there. And a bad boss can make your life a living heck. I've been there. A bad boss can make every day a nightmare. And I just don't want her to have that kind of authority. Now, she was working solo. Like I said about Kathleen Kennedy. I don't want Kathleen Kennedy to not have a job. I just want her to stop working on Star Wars. Same thing. This lady can run all the business she wants, but God forbid the wrong person gets a job under there. And she seems like the type to keep someone around just to bully them. She'd keep a couple on staff just to make Mr. Feel Good screwing with them, because some of her texts and messages she's posted imply that about her personality. So to keep money out of her pocket, I'll pass up a good game. And that's the problem. There might be a lot of other people that are being petty like me that are like, it might be SBI, so I just won't buy it. And now you're making companies that aren't working with you lose money, and that's not good for you, because now somebody mentions, why don't we have a black, get out. And then they're just going to throw them out, and they're going to be like, no, we need straight guys or beards. And it's like, that doesn't need to be the case every time. No. Samus Aran would not work as a guy. I can't even imagine her as a guy. And I don't think the first Aliens movie would have been a success if it wasn't Ripley, because there was something about the dynamic of Sigourney Weaver's character that made it work. It was something about the fact that she was in the back, she was making sense, she's this blue collar, and nobody will take her serious. And that's kind of why they died. If they listened to her more, they might have lived. So there's a certain point that it just doesn't work if it's not a woman. But, that mentality is fading in the face of constant failures and attacks, to where you may have a perfectly valid game that should and could have a diverse protagonist fail because people look at it and just go, oh, it's trash. I mean, from what I understand, Resident Evil 2 Remake is a really good game. But when we looked at its Steam numbers, it's not doing anywhere as good as any of the Silent Hill 2 Remake. I think I said the wrong name. Silent Hill 2 Remake is good. I talked to someone who literally went in wanting to hate that game, and he said it was great. Literally said, I played this game, and he's a member of the other community. He's not one of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, he and him, we don't agree on a lot of stuff. He is liberal and far over there on the very high end, He's a member of a different community, different orientation. Well, that's being real. And, he went in not wanting to like this game, though, because he's a big fan of the originals. And it's good. And that won me a lot of different opinion, because I said, well, wait a minute. You went in not wanting to like this game because you didn't think it needed to be changed, and you like it. That gave me a whole different opinion. Where now, where I said this probably sucks, I'm now saying it's probably a good game. It's probably actually pretty good. But some of the changes they made didn't seem to be for story. Maybe they didn't affect the story, but they also didn't need to be made. I'm not talking about story. I'm talking about a lot of visuals. They changed character looks and stuff to kind of fit the new ideal. And that, I think, is why this game is way less numbers than Resident Evil 2 Remake, way less numbers than Resident Evil 4 Remake, way less numbers than Resident Evil Village. And I'm like, wow, the numbers, not terrible. It's making money. It's making money. The game, I'm not saying it's a failure business-wise, but it's Silent Hill 2. It should have did as well as Resident Evil remakes. Did it because people thought it was going to be something? Maybe. They may have lost another 20,000 players off of Steam, though there are a lot of people on console, because when people saw it, they said, oh, they're doing that. And the thing is, that's so much a poison, people won't even play your game. Like, they immediately won't touch it. Like, I uninstalled Flintlock. He said it. I didn't even turn it on. So it's like, this has become such a poison that it is potentially harming good games. That's why I mentioned what he was about. It's nothing wrong, man. He's not secretive about it. It's like, yeah, I talked to a whole bunch of people.
No, you're just taking a really long time to say it.
Well, I was trying to be very careful how I worded it. You know what I'm saying? Because people are sensitive. Not him, man. I love the guy. But, that's what I love about him. He's not sensitive, man. We go back and forth all the time. Because talking, how you learn about other people. You actually have a conversation. But anyway, my point is that I respect his opinion on a lot of things. And he's actually, on certain things, he does opinion, though. He's like, you don't need to fix it. It ain't broke. Like, we both agreed, I think it's Resident Evil. We said Resident Evil 4 needs to be Silent Hill 4 needs to be remade the most. You know, that's the one we both. Silent Hill 4 The Room is a game we'd like to see remade. We think has a lot of potential. I know we got one more topic. But anyway, this is an example of what I think may be a really good game that's dying.
I think part of the reason is that $70 price tag.
That is really high for a remake, too.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Resident Evil 4 was too high at $59 when it came out.
But yeah, this is AAA.
But now we're up to 60. Now it's a full price freaking game.
Full price AAA.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That is a lot. Now, supposedly there's some deals out there you can get 35% off. I don't know. Go look at it. We saw something pop up. Don't know. Maybe he got it on sale. But my point is that I changed my opinion on this game because someone I know who went in not wanting a remake said after I played, he said there's a lot of story changes that are really good. There's more endings. So how much of this is the price? How much is they made a couple of changes they could have skipped that's harmed the success of this game? Because you want to know what people weren't saying about Resident Evil? They weren't really saying that. Except a little bit about the outfit for Resident Evil 2. Guess what, though? Capcom went and put the original outfit in and said, all right, let's give her a slightly shorter skirt, a little tighter top. Because Capcom was like, we don't want you to not play this game because of a stupid outfit change. Because that is a dumb reason. But it's the warning flag. People thought they were going to change the story in a bad way. I can say I've heard good things.
So next up we got Concord, man. I thought we were done with this game. I thought we were done.
That's an interesting comment.
But you do talk a lot. Concord devs. Oh, but yeah, you probably just logged in while you were on your rant. You know, you do that. You rant. So, but Concord devs updating PC game files, leading to FTP speculations. So, free to play. What do you think, Blood? I mean, you actually predicted this.
Well, yeah, and we talked about before the show that I think that Sony has made some really boneheaded decisions. It's funny because in the film space, they're knocking out of the park, but in the video game space, it's like yin and yang. You know, they're losing as much money in games as they're making in films, it seems like. But, you know, I really think that to them, they're so hard-headed to get their game out there that they're going to make it free to play. And, you know, Q was talking about, you know, the operational cost when it comes to the servers and the updates. And, you know, I think that they're going to try the best they can to get more eyeballs onto this game, even though it's trash. And whether or not it's going to be a fun game to play is irrelevant because it's just visually nauseating. I mean, it is really. We actually
saw when it was free. Like it went into open beta, and it couldn't even get like 300 players when the game was free. So I mean, I don't see how moving to free to play is going to change the fact that the game couldn't be successful when it was free for people to try.
Free beta.
Yeah, the free beta.
Then the bigots won't have a reason not to play
it. Not to mention, you already have a stigma from having to refund everybody who did buy the game. So if it comes out free to play, everybody's going, oh, that's that game that they had to refund everybody. Are you really going to waste your time on that?
The biggest, you know, because I follow a lot of the stuff on X, and the responses that I saw were from just a play perspective. It was smooth. It wasn't hiccupy. You know, other than the visuals, the difficult thing was getting people in matches because that took a while. And so if Sony's thinking, hey, if we can make it free to play and you can buy cosmetics, you know, that'll solve the matchmaking problem and we'll have a successful game and then we'll make our money back that way. I don't think it's going to work but I think that's where their headspace is at in regards to Concord.
Yeah, I mean, to come back, they have to fix some stuttering issues, stuff like that. They'd also have to fix the balancing issues. Because until they fix the balancing issues, then the way that they do the character selection is always going to piss somebody off, because you can't play your favorite character, and your favorite character is probably the one that is, the most OP. But I don't know. Some people, I mean, your favorite character may just be because you like the way the character looks. The point is, I can't play my favorite character every time because you keep making me change who I'm playing, which was a dumb concept to begin with.
And that's something that the Coalition figured out with Gears 5 after about a year, is that, I couldn't play my favorite character because somebody else wanted to play that same character, so I was stuck playing somebody I didn't want to play. And eventually they decoupled everything, and you can have as many of whatever class, whatever skin that you want, and they'll probably get to the same endpoint, assuming this game sticks around that long.
I mean, we solved this issue in fighting games a long time ago. You just throw a different outfit or a color scheme on them, and, and then you can have two of the same character, right?
That's not
but
at all.
I mean, I don't know about the game as far as the balancing issues that you're talking about, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to play two of the fat person in the orange jumpsuit. That's just weird.
I can explain it if you want to know. Every character. It's a hero shooter. Hero shooters have specific aspects to the characters: speeds, weapon damages, kits, all that. This game not only had it where you can only have one of each character team, but it actually in between rounds made you switch. Meaning, even if all three of us played and I wanted to play Assault, like I'm not at Space Marine 2, but I want to play a certain character, I couldn't do it consecutively, even if you two did not want to play my character and no one selected that character. Yeah. That just meant the character wasn't in the match.
Yeah, where it could just make you sit in the queue a little longer because it needs to find a match where somebody hadn't picked that yet, or... I mean, there's different ways of doing it.
That's not how it works.
Yeah,
I know. And now, I mean, when you only have
trash.
12 players, it's hard to do a queue thing anyway.
That's the problem. Someone dropped. It didn't drop new people in, so you just was short.
Well, no, I mean, it didn't have enough players, people playing the game.
I'm talking about when they did.
I know. Well, did they ever? Dude, even at 300 players... That's not enough.
They had more than that at one point.
Okay, even at 2,000 players, it's still
they
not
never had
enough.
That many.
That's like 100 matches. Here's the thing, and I'll keep it short since apparently the black dude talks too much. But basically, I don't think this can work simply because I don't think they can pull enough players in to make it fiscally viable or even have enough matches. They had that problem before. They can't. Even if they made it free to play, there wouldn't be enough people that would suddenly jump on to keep it running. And that's the issue. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's expensive. It's a cross-platform, cross-play, which means PC to Xbox, PC to Sony. That's expensive. And nobody's going to want to buy any cosmetics for the game because everybody's ugly. So, you're not going to buy a clown outfit for a character that already looks like a clown, a bad clown. We're not talking about like Joker.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to work. And I mean, they didn't have enough people at their best. If it goes free to play, the most it'll hit is its best numbers it ever had, which wasn't even like enough for that many people are playing Silent Hill 2, right now.
I mean, maybe Sony fanboys will do it since it's not on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a bunch of squeakers out there playing as well, so even the quality of matches are going to be trash.
Last thing we have is Bloodlines 2 is more spiritual successor than sequel to a competently good game by 2004 standards. Oh, man.
They Zeglered it. They Snow White Zeglered it.
I don't get this, dude. You have a cult classic. This is like Star Wars. You have a built-in fan base guaranteed will buy this game. All you have to do is keep to the footprint of its successor, because
they're not even that picky about quality because they're used to the original game. They're like,
there's still a lot of people are still playing the original game.
Apparently, they're playing a bad game.
But yeah, And so basically they just said, yeah, we sorta, kinda, maybe went along with the game, but not really. It's a spiritual successor.
Bloodlines 2.
Yeah.
Called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has the sequel name, is not a sequel. It's a spiritual successor to a game we thought was okay. And I'll say this quick, that's dumb because nobody cares about this game that isn't a fan of the first game. They don't even know what the heck Vampire the Masquerade is. This is a very selective fan base that's kind of small. It's kind of like the Evil Dead big fan crowd. It's like it's very specific. If you lose them, then this game is going to do worse than Concord.
Well, yeah, because
I forget it's coming
that
out.
get into Vampire,
Oh, yeah.
they're die hard. I mean, they're hardcore. But when you start doing to them the way you did to the original Star Wars fans, you don't have another partial fan base to pull from. At least with Star Wars, you have, modern audience, so to speak, but you have fringe sci-fi, sci-fantasy folks. I've played Vampire like once or twice, and I checked out so fast. I couldn't imagine how this would remotely be successful if you deviate too far away from the core principles of the first game, and to the point that you're saying, oh, this is, a loosely based spiritual successor that has nothing to do with the first game. We're just tagging on the name so we can sell copies. That is an asinine decision.
Yeah.
And that's the short of it. I mean, let's put it like this. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a very specific and small franchise. It has no knowledge outside of that. I don't even think we've seen a state of play trailer in anybody's thing. It's crazy to risk alienating that audience because, dude, Twilight's a bigger vampire franchise.
Here's the thing.
Underworld's a bigger vampire franchise.
They screwed up since the beginning, dude. They gave it to people who didn't care about the game. It was so bad that they had to give it to somebody else who would just make a game that still didn't care about the original game. When you have a cult classic like this, you find a small group, a small developer group of fans, and you hand them that IP and you say, hey, we hear you're fans of this IP. Why about you make a successor? And you give them the budget to do it. It doesn't need to be a big budget because it's a cult classic. Cult classic doesn't have a large fan base. It has a distinct, fan base. Has a rabid fan base, but it's just who you're selling to. So you get a fan developer. It may not be the prettiest game. It may not be, the most current tech. But if it has, hell, Bloodlines 2 wasn't. Bloodlines when it first came out was not.
Oh, it was janky.
It was janky. It was a year or two behind in graphics. It was
Bethesda. Yeah. Yes, it was a Bethesda janky.
So, yeah, you give this to fans to make, not some offshoot company.
And we've seen projects of love become successful because the word gets out it's good. But I'm not kidding when I said if this was an Underworld game, it'd have a bigger audience. Like, this is just not a large enough, widespread game franchise to tell the gamers, your game was so-so. Oh, forget
dude, when this game came out that it was going to have a sequel, I was shocked because I didn't know anybody else who played the game. Talking to my friends, I was like, oh, you actually played, and you were shocked that I played the game.
I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you played it, man. I thought you weren't into that, like, silly crap, because a lot of people thought Vampire the Masquerade was corny, especially with all the Mind's Eye Theater stuff where people were walking around dressed around as vampires. It kind of for a while was not cool to be into Vampire the Masquerade. It got weird.
I was big into Vampire the Masquerade when I was in high school, man. I played, you used to play the card game. You remember the vampire card game that was like Magic?
I'm talking about this.
And I never played that. My brother did. He used to go down to CoastCon and play it, and I'd make fun of him. Yeah. But
See?
Well, I made fun of LARPing in general, man, and my apologies to LARPers out there, but
I never LARPed, but I tolerated.
You're easy to make fun of. I'm sorry. It's like furries. You know, you're easy to make fun of. I don't hate furries, but you're a nice target for a joke.
I dated a girl who
we've
was
heard
part of a
go after
LARPing group.
furries. Go ahead, Bloodaxe.
And we broke up because it was just too damn weird for me. I couldn't do it. It was so weird. But yeah, they would go to New Orleans and they would all have a bottle of wine. And when you caught each other, you would drink wine instead of blood. I was just like, okay, you guys are just good drink. I mean, don't act goofy and silly, but okay, whatever. But yeah, and so you've already got a very, very small population to pull from that actually enjoy your content, and now you're giving them the finger. So welcome to the club, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up there. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel so you can hear our talkative black guy. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy, motherfucker.